Don't scroll. This message found you for a reason. My child, please stay here for a moment. Just breathe slowly, deeply, because I believe this message is reaching you tonight at the exact moment your heart and body needed it most. Not by accident, not by chance, not because you randomly landed here, but because heaven sees what you have been carrying. And God has not looked away from your pain. He has not ignored your exhaustion. He has not missed one sleepless night, not one silent tear, not one moment where your body felt weak, not one hour where you kept going even though you were tired deep down. My child, God sees you tonight. He sees the weight in your body, the tension in your shoulders, the heaviness in your chest, the fatigue you cannot fully explain, the pain you do not always talk about, the parts of yourself you keep hiding behind a smile. He sees all of it, and He is near. So before you do anything else, before you keep scrolling, before you rush into the next distraction, stay here just for these next few moments and let your soul become still, because something gentle is happening here, something peaceful, something deeper than noise. And maybe even now, as you hear these words, you can feel your breathing starting to slow down. Maybe your thoughts are not racing quite as hard. Maybe your spirit is beginning to soften. Maybe your body is finally being invited to stop fighting for a minute. My child, you have been strong for too long. Strong in ways nobody clapped for. Strong in ways nobody even noticed. You kept showing up. You kept pushing through. You kept trying to be okay. You kept telling yourself you would rest later. You kept saying, "I'll deal with it later. I'll be fine. I just need to get through today." But day after day, that pressure stayed. That tiredness stayed. That heaviness stayed. And tonight, I believe, God is calling you into a different kind of moment. Not pressure, not striving, not pretending, but peace, rest, comfort, and healing if you believe God can meet you right where you are. Type amen in the comments, not as a performance, but as a quiet act of faith, a simple way of saying, "Lord, I'm here, my heart is open, I need you, my child." Healing is not always loud. It is not always dramatic. It is not always instant in the way people expect. Sometimes healing begins in silence. Sometimes it begins when your breathing slows. Sometimes it begins when the tension starts leaving your body one layer at a time. Sometimes it begins when your soul finally feels safe enough to rest. And maybe that is what God is doing for you right now. Maybe He is calming what has been racing inside you. Maybe He is soothing what has been overwhelmed. Maybe He is touching the places inside you that have been crying out for relief. Even the places you cannot put into words. Because God knows how to reach what other people cannot see. He knows how to touch what you cannot explain. He knows how to comfort what has been hidden. He knows how to strengthen what has been worn down. My child, you do not have to force this moment. You do not have to make something happen. You do not have to perform faith. You do not have to impress God with perfect words. Just be still. Just stay here. Just breathe. And let this message hold your attention for a little while. Because sometimes the first step toward healing is simply allowing yourself to stop running. Stop carrying everything alone. Stop acting like your body is made of stone. Stop pretending your heart is not tired. My child, God is not disappointed in you for being exhausted. He is not frustrated with you for feeling weak. He is not far from you because your body feels drained. He draws near to the weary. He stays close to the brokenhearted. He comforts the burdened. And tonight, He is reminding you that you do not have to carry all of this by yourself anymore. Some of you listening right now have been dealing with pain you rarely talk about. Some of you have been dealing with stress that settled into your body. Some of you have been carrying emotional weight for so long that now your whole system feels tired. Your body feels it. Your mind feels it. Your sleep feels it. Your focus feels it. Your energy feels it. Even your spirit feels worn down. And maybe you have asked in silence, God, do you see me? God, are you here? God, do you know how tired I am? And I believe the answer tonight is yes. He sees you. Yes. He knows. Yes. He is here, my child. There is nothing weak about needing healing. There is nothing shameful about needing rest. There is nothing wrong with admitting you are tired. Some of you have been trying to survive on strength alone. But God never asked you to live disconnected from His peace. He never asked you to hide your need. He never asked you to pretend that pain does not exist. He invites you to come close, to be honest, to be still, to let Him hold what you cannot keep holding. So right now, wherever you are, take a slow breath in and let it out. Again, slowly, let your shoulders drop, unclench your jaw, release your hands, and remind yourself, I am safe in God's presence. I am seen by God. I am not alone tonight. If that speaks to your spirit, comment your prayer below. Even if it is only a few words. Even if it is simply, Lord, help me, my child. There are people listening to this right now who have been smiling in public, but hurting in private. People who kept functioning, but have felt empty. People who got through the day, but collapsed inside at night. People who have looked fine on the outside, while carrying deep fatigue on the inside. And if that is you, please hear this clearly. God is not only present in your loud moments, He is present in your silent ones too. He is present in the room when nobody understands. He is present in the hour when you feel weak. He is present in the moment when your body feels like it has reached its limit. He is present when your heart is whispering, I can't. Keep doing this alone, my child. This is your invitation to stop resisting rest. Stop fighting stillness. Stop feeling guilty for being human. You are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to receive peace. You are allowed to ask God to comfort your body, your mind, your emotions, your whole being. And maybe tonight, that healing begins with peace, peace in your chest, peace in your breathing, peace in your thoughts, peace in the part of you that has been bracing for one more hard thing. Because when the peace of God settles over someone, something begins to change. The body softens, the soul exhales, the mind quiets. Hope begins to rise again. My child, let God minister to you here, not through pressure, not through fear, but through tenderness, through truth, through love, through His presence. You do not need to be afraid tonight. You do not need to panic your way into healing. You do not need someone to threaten you in order for God to meet you. He comes close because He loves you. He draws near because He cares. He comforts because that is who He is. And maybe what your body has needed most is not more fear, but more peace, not more striving, but more surrender, not more noise, but more stillness. If this message is helping you breathe a little easier, take a second and like this video, so it can reach someone else tonight who has been quietly carrying pain, someone else who needs a moment of peace, someone else who needs to remember that God still sees them. My child, there are wounds in people that do not always show up on the outside. Stress can sit in the body. Grief can sit in the body. Fear can sit in the body. Loneliness can sit in the body. Disappointment can sit in the body. Heartbreak can sit in the body. And after a while, you do not always know where the emotional pain ends and the physical weariness begins. But God knows. He knows what grief has done to your sleep. He knows what anxiety has done to your body. He knows what constant pressure has done to your energy. He knows what hidden sorrow has done to your strength. And He is not confused by what you are feeling. He knows exactly where to meet you, my child. Maybe tonight the healing is beginning at the root, not only touching the symptoms, but speaking peace into the deeper places. The places that have been under strain for too long, the places that have been tense for too long, the places that have been carrying sorrow for too long. Because God does not only deal with surfaces, He reaches deeper. He knows the places you never mention. He knows the struggles you minimize. He knows the burdens you have normalized. And He cares about all of it. Maybe right now, you feel a little calmer, a little softer, a little lighter than when this message began. Do not dismiss that. Do not rush past that. Do not tell yourself it means nothing. Sometimes the smallest shift is the beginning of something holy. Sometimes a calmer breath is the beginning. Sometimes a quiet tear is the beginning. Sometimes a moment of stillness is the beginning. Sometimes peace enters before strength returns. My child, God is able to restore what stress has drained. He is able to strengthen what pressure has weakened. He is able to comfort what pain has shaken. He is able to renew what exhaustion has worn down. And while I am not telling you to ignore wisdom, or stop caring for your body, or avoid the help you may need, I am telling you this: you do not have to walk through this without prayer, without peace, without God's comfort covering you. Pray, rest, seek the support you need. Take care of the body God gave you, and let His presence meet you in every step, because faith and wisdom can walk together, prayer and care can walk together, God's peace and practical steps can walk together. My child, some of you have been waiting for a sign that things can change, a sign that this heaviness will not define the rest of your life, a sign that your body will not always feel like this, a sign that peace is still possible. And tonight I believe this message is that reminder, not a shortcut, not a trick, not a false promise, but a reminder. God is still with you. He is still near. He still cares. He still strengthens. He still comforts. He still restores. He still heals in ways deeper than you can. See, some of you need to hear this next part slowly. You are not failing because you are tired. You are not weak because you need rest. You are not forgotten because healing has taken time. You are not abandoned because the process has been slow. God is still working in quiet places. He is still moving in unseen ways. He is still doing things within you that words cannot always capture. And just because everything has not changed overnight does not mean He is absent. My child, a quiet process is still a real process. A slow restoration is still restoration. A gentle peace is still powerful. Do not underestimate what God can do through consistent peace, through steady comfort, through daily renewal, through moments like this, where your soul stops running long enough to receive. So stay here with me a little longer. Breathe again. Inhale slowly and exhale. Let your mind settle. Let your spirit soften. Let this next part sink in. God is not asking you to have all the answers tonight. He is not demanding perfect faith. He is not requiring polished words. He is inviting your attention, your honesty, your openness, your trust, even if it is small, even if all you can say is, "Lord, I want to believe. Lord, help my body rest. Lord, carry what I cannot carry. Lord, bring peace where I feel overwhelmed. That prayer matters. That whisper matters. That surrender matters, my child. There is strength coming back to some of you. Not noisy strength, not prideful strength, but calm strength. The kind that rises quietly, the kind that steadies your breathing, the kind that helps you face tomorrow without panic, the kind that reminds your heart, I am not alone. I will get through this day. God will meet me again. Some of you will notice that after this message. Your thoughts feel less chaotic. Your breathing feels more even. Your body feels less braced. Your heart feels more settled. Your spirit feels more held. And that matters. Because peace is not nothing. Peace is powerful. Peace protects. Peace restores. Peace makes room for healing. Peace gives your body somewhere safe to land, my child. There are people listening right now who have not really rested in a long time. Even when they lay down, their body stayed tense. Their thoughts kept moving. Their spirit stayed alert. Their heart stayed heavy. And if that is you, I am praying that tonight, God gives you a deeper kind of rest. Not just sleep, but holy rest. Rest in your mind. Rest in your nerves. Rest in your breathing. Rest in your emotions. Rest in the places that have been on edge for too long. Rest, that says. You do not have to survive this night alone. Rest, that says God is watching over you. Rest, that says you are being held. If you need that kind of rest tonight, type rest in the comments. My child, I believe there are also people here who have grown discouraged because they thought healing had to look dramatic. But maybe what God is doing in your life right now is more tender than dramatic, more quiet than sudden, more deep than loud. He may be rebuilding your inner strength slowly. He may be restoring your peace one layer at a time. He may be helping your body come out of survival mode. He may be teaching your spirit how to trust again. He may be healing the emotional weight that has affected everything else. And just because it is gentle does not mean it is small, my child. Gentle things can still change your life. A gentle word can change your night. A gentle peace can change your mind. A gentle touch from God can change the direction of your heart. A gentle moment of surrender can become the turning point you did not expect. So please, do not rush this. Do not listen with one ear while your mind is somewhere else. Stay with the peace that is here. Stay with the stillness. Stay with the tenderness of this moment, because the world is always trying to pull you back into noise. But healing often grows in quiet places. My child, I want to speak to the person who feels like their body has been carrying more than their heart can explain. To the person who gets tired too fast. To the person who feels drained without knowing why. To the person who keeps saying, I should be fine by now. To the person who has become discouraged by the slowness of recovery. Please hear this. Be patient with yourself. Be gentle with your body. Be kind to the parts of you that are still healing. God is not rushing you. So do not rush yourself. He is not shaming you for healing slowly. So do not shame yourself. He is not measuring your worth by how productive you are while tired. So stop measuring yourself that way too. My child, you are more than your exhaustion. You are more than your symptoms. You are more than the tension you have been carrying. You are more than the discouragement you have felt. You are still loved, still seen, still chosen, still held, still worth caring for. And maybe tonight, that is part of your healing too. Remembering that you matter. Remembering that your body deserves care. Remembering that your soul deserves peace. Remembering that God is not impatient with your weakness. My child, I also believe someone listening has been afraid of the future, afraid that what you feel now will always stay this way, afraid that you will keep living in the same cycle, afraid that things will never truly get better. But fear does not get the final word over you. God does. And He is not speaking hopelessness over your life tonight. He is speaking comfort. He is speaking peace. He is speaking renewal. He is speaking gentle strength. He is speaking calm into the storm inside you. And when God speaks peace into a weary soul, something begins to change from the inside out. Some of you need permission to slow down. So here it is. Slow down, drink water, rest when you can, pray when you are weak, ask for help when you need it, care for your body without guilt, and let God meet you in ordinary moments, because some of the holiest healing happens in very ordinary places, in a quiet room, in a whispered prayer, in a slow breath, in a still night, in a moment when your heart finally stops pretending to be okay. My child, there is hope for you. Real hope. Steady hope. Not hype, not manipulation, not empty words. Hope rooted in the presence of God. Hope that remains when emotions rise and fall. Hope that holds when the process takes time. Hope that says, this is not the end of your story. Hope that says, you are still being carried. Hope that says, there is still peace ahead. Hope that says, God can restore what has been worn down. If this message is speaking to your heart, and you know somebody else who has been tired, worn down, stressed, or quietly hurting, share this with them, because sometimes one peaceful message can reach someone at exactly the right moment. My child, let's slow down again. Inhale and exhale. You are still here. You made it this far. And that matters, because too many people leave the moment before the peace settles. Too many people run before their spirit has time to receive. Too many people go back into noise before stillness can do its work. But you stayed, and I believe that matters. I believe God honors the moments when we stop, when we listen, when we let Him minister to us, when we let peace enter places fear used to live, when we let hope rise where discouragement had settled. My child, I am praying over you now that God would cover you with peace tonight, that He would calm your heart, steady your mind, comfort your body, ease the hidden tension you have been carrying, bring rest to the places that feel overworked, bring lightness to the places that feel heavy, bring courage to the places that have felt afraid, and remind you that you are not going through this alone. I pray that tonight becomes a holy pause for you, a moment where your body remembers what peace feels like, a moment where your spirit stops fighting to hold everything together, a moment where your heart realizes, God is really here. My pain is not hidden from Him. My weakness has not pushed Him away. My exhaustion has not disqualified me from His love. My child, before this message ends, I want you to hear this very clearly. You do not need to leave this moment the same way you entered it. Maybe everything around you has not changed yet, but something within you can become steadier, quieter, lighter, more hopeful, more anchored in God's peace. And that matters more than you know. Because from that place, you can keep going. From that place, you can breathe again. From that place, you can rest again. From that place, you can face tomorrow with greater calm, my child. Do not go back into the night carrying everything the same way. Leave some of it here. Leave the fear here. Leave the pressure here. Leave the performance here. Leave the heaviness here. Leave the silent panic here. Leave the exhaustion here. And let God hold what you cannot keep holding. He is able. He is near. He is kind. He is patient. He is gentle with the weary, and his peace is not small. My child, as you move forward from this message, stay close to God. Talk to Him honestly. Rest when your body asks for rest. Do not ignore what needs care. Do not be ashamed to ask for help. Do not punish yourself for being tired. And do not believe the lie that you must carry everything alone. You were never meant to live cut off from peace. You were never meant to carry every burden by yourself. You were never meant to survive only on pressure. God is calling you into a different rhythm, a rhythm of peace, a rhythm of wisdom, a rhythm of trust, a rhythm of daily renewal. My child, this is not the end. This is the beginning of a gentler path, a steadier path, a more peaceful path. And even if the process continues one step at a time, you are not walking it alone. God will be with you in the quiet morning. He will be with you in the hard afternoon. He will be with you in the restless evening. He will be with you in the middle of the night. He will be with you when you feel strong, and He will be with you when you feel weak. He does not step away because healing takes time. He stays. My child, one last thing before you go. Be gentle with yourself. Tonight, speak kindly to yourself tonight. Stop calling yourself weak because you are tired. Stop condemning yourself for needing peace. Stop acting like rest is failure. Rest is not failure. Stillness is not failure. Needing God is not failure. It is wisdom. It is surrender. It is faith. And I pray that after hearing this message, you feel a little more peace, a little more comfort, a little more strength, a little more hope, a little more trust that God is still writing your story. If you stayed to the end, comment "God is with me" below. And if this prayer message touched your heart, like this video, share it with someone who needs healing peace tonight. And subscribe for more messages of hope, because sometimes one quiet word at the right time can change the entire direction of someone's night. My child, breathe once more, slowly, deeply, and remember, you are seen, you are loved, you are not alone, and the peace of God is still able to find you, even here, even now, even tonight.